Radha Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Girivardhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai He Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Vraja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभुपादाचार्य स्वस्य श्रीमद ऐसी भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवसादि गौर भक्तविंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled, Hare Krishna. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य जनञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वयं पदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदाकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं साद्भूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं तं सजीवं वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदमयाय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतुसे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुण सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदवनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले स्मृति तमाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी नामने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले स्मृति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौर वाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणी। हरे कृष्णा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna and welcome. Today we are speaking from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4, Text number 21. Ambrish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni. Evam sada karma kalapam atmana. Evam sada karma kalapam atmana. Pare adhiks yajne bhagavati adhoksaje. परे अधियजन हे भागवती अधोक्षजे। सर्व आत्मा भवन विधादम महिम इमम। सर्वात्मा भवम विधादम महिम इमम। तन्निष्ठा विप्रः भीषसः। तन्निष्ठा विप्राहितसशः। एवं सदा कर्मा कल्पहम् आत्मना। परे अधिक्षाने भगवती अधोक्षजे। सर्वात्मा भवन विवादम महामिम इमाम। तन्निष्ठा विप्राभिहिता सशः। एवं सदा कर्मा कलापम आत्मनः। परे अभियग्ने भगवती अधोक्षजे। Sarvatma bhavan vidhamamahimamimam Tannista viprabhihitastasasaha. Evam sadakarma kalapam atmanaha Pare adhikshatne bhagavati adoksajati Sarvatma bhavan vidhamahimimam Tannista viprahihitasasaha. Evam sadha karma kalapam atmanaha Pare adiyajne bhavati yadoksaje Sarvatma bhavam vidhamahitamam Sanmista viprabhi sasasataha. Mataji. Edam sada karma kalapatmanaha Pare abhi agnetvi doti Sarvatma bhavan vidham mahimimam Tannista viprabhihita sasasaha. Evam sada karma kalapam atmanaha Pare adhagni purvate aktakshe Sarvatma bhavam vidadam mahimam Tannista viprabhihita sasasaha. Evam, thus living a devotional life, sada, karma kalpam, the prescribed occupational duty as a king, as a Kshatriya king, Atmama, of himself, personally the head of the state, Pare, unto the supreme transcendence, Adhiksya Jane, unto the supreme proprietor, the supreme enjoyer, Bhagavati, unto the supreme personality of Godhead, Adhoksya, unto he who is beyond material sense perception, Sarva Atma Bhavam, all different varieties of devotional service, Vidahat, executing, offering, Mahim, the planet Earth, Imam, these, Tad Nishta, who are faithful devotees of the Lord, Vipra, by such Brahmins, Abhihita, directed, Sasasha, ruled, Ha, in the past. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, in performing his personal duties as king, Maharaj Ambarisa always offered the result of his royal activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, who is the enjoyer of everything and is beyond the perception of material senses, he certainly took advice from Brahmins who were faithful devotees of the Lord, and thus he ruled the planet Earth without difficulty. Prepared by Srila Prabhupada. Stated in Bhagavad Gita 5:29, Bhoktanam yajna tapsam sarva loka maheshwaram sudram sarva bhutanam gyantha mam santihim rachiti. People are very much anxious to live in peace. and prosperity in this material world. And here in Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is given personally by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone should understand that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the ultimate proprietor of all the planets and is therefore the enjoyer of all activities, political, social, cultural, religious, economic, and so on. The Lord has given perfect advice in Bhagavad Gita, and Amrish Maharaj, as the idol executive head, ruled the entire world as a Vaishnava, taking advice from Vaishnava Brahmins. The Shastras enjoin that even though a Brahman may be well versed in the occupational Brahmanical duties, and might be very learned in Vedic knowledge, he cannot give advice as a guru until he is a Vaishnava. Satkarmaha nipunaho vipro mantra tantra visharadaha Vaishnav guruna sadha Vaishnav sarvaparo guru. Therefore, as indicated here by the word tad nista vipraha vitaha, Maharaj Ambarisa took advice from Brahmins who were pure devotees of the Lord. For ordinary Brahmins who are merely learned scholars or expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies are not competent to give advice. In the modern times, there are legislative assemblies whose members are authorized to make laws for the welfare of the state. But according to this description of the kingdom of Maharaj Ambarisa, the country or the world should be ruled by a chief executive whose advisors are all devotee Brahmins. Such advisors or members of the legislative assembly should not be professional politicians, nor should they be selected by the ignorant public. Rather, they should be appointed by the king. When the king, the executive head of the state, is a devotee and follows the instructions of devotee Brahmins in ruling the country, everyone will be peaceful and prosperous. When the king and the advisors are perfect devotees, nothing can be wrong in the state. All the citizens should become devotees of the Lord, and then their good character will automatically follow. Yashyati bhakti bhagavati akinchanaha sarvahi gunais tatra samhasate surya haravah abhak tasya kuro mahadgunaha mano rathena sati dhavato bahir. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of God has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications and are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attached by the glaring material energy. Bhagavad Gita 5:18-12. Citizens under the guidance of Krishna conscious king might become devotees, and then there will be no need to enact new laws every day to reform the ways of life in the state. If the citizens are trained to become devotees, they will automatically become peaceful and honest. And if they are guided by a devoted king advised by the devotees, the state will not be in the material world but in the spiritual world. All the states of the world should therefore follow the idol of the rule or administration of Maharaj Ambarisa as described here. Hare Krishna. So you have been listening to a few classes on this chapter already, and this is about a great devotee, Ambarisa Maharaj. They are now the bhakti, now in process of devotional service. And what does Ambarisa Maharaj represent? Atma Nivedana. That means complete surrender. Now in the last verse, I think Prabhu gave a class yesterday, and in very nicely described how he was using every aspect of his life in the service of the Lord. So here in this chapter, the three major things that are mentioned is that in performing his prescribed duty as king, Maharaj Ambarisa always offered the result of his oral activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this is the first thing that we learn from here, is that whatever we should do, we should offer it to Krishna. Does anything belong to us? Whom does it belong to? So it's like a child who buys gifts from the money that the parents have given and gives it back to him. That's our situation. We are not giving anything that belongs to us actually. We are just re-giving it back to him. Just like how do you worship Ganga Devi? We take the same water and we offer it, right? So same thing, this is what it is. It's just the mood that you should be doing it, right? So that's the first thing, that whatever we have in our life, we should offer it to Krishna. Because everything belongs to him. And if we do it out of love, then he'll accept it. So that's the first thing. Krishna, who is the enjoyer of everything and is beyond the perception of material senses. So there's the other thing, is that Krishna is the only enjoyer. So if you want to enjoy, then when Krishna becomes happy, then you will become happy. That's the trick, you know. He certainly took advice from Brahmins who were faithful devotees of the Lord and thus ruled the planet Earth without difficulty. So that third thing is that we should always take guidance. And Srila Prabhupada said that you shouldn't just take guidance from anybody, but from a devotee. That's the most important instruction. So when you take instruction from a devotee, then you become, then whatever you do becomes perfect. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport says that everybody wants peace and prosperity, right? And Ambarisa Maharaj shows how this could be achieved. So what is the peace formula? Everybody wants peace. So what is the peace formula? To have peace, you have to understand, first thing you have to understand, who is God, right? Because most of the time we don't understand who is God. Most of the people don't believe in God, they're atheists. You know? So unless you understand who God is, then you can't be submissive to Him. And if you don't become submissive to Him, then there is no happiness in this world. You think you might be happy, but there is no happiness in there. It's like the happiness in this material world is like when you take a man and you dip him in the water and he can't breathe, he's struggling, and then you let him up and then he breathes very nicely. And he said, I'm happy. That's the kind of happiness we get in this material. It's very little. And then it doesn't stay for long. You know, somebody wins a gold medal. He's happy for how long? You know, next day, 3 days, 4 days later, you know, he thinks he's happy, everybody forget about him. So happiness here in this material world is very temporary. One of Lord's name is Ram. What does Ram mean? What does the word Ram mean? We just said Ram Navami, yes. Happiness is a treasure house of happiness. So if you want happiness, then you go to Ram. That's where happiness is, you know. So first you have to understand who God is. One of the things mentioned here, He is the supreme enjoyer, right? The other thing we have to understand, because this is Bhagavatam class, we shouldn't be just understanding that, oh, Krishna is God. There is many incarnations. We should also understand what those incarnations are. You know, what is when Krishna comes as Krishna himself, or as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the other incarnation as Nrsimhadev, what are those incarnations? What are the differences in there? So I thought I'll spend a little bit of time going through all those different incarnations. So first, there are incarnations in material world. What are those incarnations which are just in the material world? First one is Mahavishnu, right? Because he is the creator. So if there is Mahavishnu, then who are the other ones? Garbhadakshay Vishnu and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So these are incarnations in the material world. And there are other incarnations that just happen here. It doesn't happen in the spiritual world. Understand? So Krishna comes and creates this material world, and he incarnates himself as Mahavishnu, who is an incarnation of Mahashankarashan, who is an incarnation of Sankarshan, who is an incarnation of Balram, who is an incarnation of Krishna. So you see where it is, right? And all these incarnations are as powerful as the other one, but they only come with certain amount of power. Whatever is required to do the job. Just example, there is a big businessman and they had managers, the top level managers, the second level managers, third level managers. All of them are representing the country, but they have got enough power to do whatever is required. So the incarnations are like that as well. Then we go into the Vaikuntha Dham. So when you go to Vaikuntha Dham, what is the first incarnation there? Sadashiva. So as soon as you cross the Viraj river, the next incarnation is Sadashiva. And what does Lord Shiva carry all the time? Trishul, right? And Trishul has three of those things. What does that signify? So anybody who is still in these three modes of material nature, which are mode of goodness, mode of patience, and mode of ignorance, can't go beyond that. They come back. Alright, so he stops that. And then above them is the Vaikuntha planets. In the Vaikuntha planets, there are many planets there. And who is there? What is the form of the Lord there? Lord Narayan, right? Now, how many of you put tilak every day? So what do we chant? Om Keshwaya Nama, Om Narayana Nama, Om Maha. You know what these are names of the Lord, right? But where are they? They are in Vaikuntha planet. So, what do they have? How many hands does Narayan have? And what does he have in each hand? So when he holds each of those items in a particular position, he has a particular name. So when you say Om Keshwaya Nama, I'm just giving an example, right? So it could be left hand has the chakra, and then the gada and lotus flower and the sank. So that's one name. And then when it changes slightly, it's different name. So there are 24 different names of the Lord. And these are the Vaikuntha planets. Now, all these places, the Lord's mood is slightly different. Why is the mood different? What is it dependent on? It depends on the mood of the devotees. So if you want to serve the Lord in a particular way, you go to a particular planet where the Lord actually has that mood. Does that make sense? So in the Vaikuntha planet, what is the mood there? Awe and reverence, right? Everybody in Vaikuntha planet knows Narayan is God. Now, who are the parents of Lord Narayan? I've asked this question many times. Who is the parents of Lord Narayan? Does he have parents? Well, yeah, he doesn't have parents. Never mentions. Why he doesn't have parents? Because everybody knows he's God. How can somebody be greater than God? Parents' position is higher than. And does that make sense? So here the mood is everybody knows he's God and they worship him in that awe and reverence form, right? So our Vaikuntha planet is Ayodhya. Who resides in Ayodhya? Now does Lord Ram has parents? Who is the parents of Lord Ram? Dashrath and Kaushalya, right? So here it changes slightly. There's a little bit of sweetness coming in there. It's not completely awe and reverence, right? There's Mata Sita Ji there, and there's Lord Ramchandra, his sons, his brothers, like that. So there's a little bit of mood is changing, it's getting a bit sweeter. And when you go above, what is the next one? Dwarka. So in Dwarka, what is the difference? There's more opulence there. And Krishna has how many wives? 16,108. I don't know how much in the spiritual or probably more, I don't know. But here at least he had 16,108 wives, right? Now, from each wife he had how many sons? 10. So, 160,000 sons, right? And then he had grandchildren as well, right? And so you see it's changing slightly now. The children are having that father and fraternal affection is there, Dasa is there, but still everybody knows Krishna is God, right? So there's no pure. Everything is contaminated by Dasaras. Even the queens are always thinking of Krishna as God, so they're trying to save him. Just like when we know the pastime about Rukmani. When Krishna was joking with her that she should have married Sisupal, what happened to her? She fainted because she could not take it. She was thinking that my Lord is rejecting me. So that's the mood there. Master and seven kind of thing. And then above that is Golok Vrindavan, which is the highest of the planet. So there, does anybody know Krishna is God? How many of you think no? How many of you think they know Krishna is God? Both are right, you know. For the time they all know. They have complete knowledge. But that knowledge is covered. So they forget. Even Krishna forgets he is God. Right? So here, Krishna is treated just like an ordinary person. He has two hands just like us. He does all the naughty things that he can do. You know, see, if you want to follow, just like Bhurjan Prabhu was saying, that if you want to actually Maryada Purushottam. Who is Maryada Purushottam? Lord Ramchandra. If you want to follow the ideal Grahastha life, you have to follow Lord Ramchandra. If you want to do that, you can't do that and follow Krishna, because Krishna broke all the rules, right? He danced with others' wife, you know, he stole, you know. How can you steal, you know? Now we are supposed not to steal, right? He did all those things because he was saying, I'm God, I can do anything I want. When the Lord Ramchandra killed a demon, the first person he killed, when did he kill that? How many of you are Ram Bhaktas here? The first time he killed a demon was when he had graduated from school, right? So, Vasisth Rishi, right? He had taught him, and then Vishwamit came to take him. So he was an adult, he had got all the knowledge, right? And then he killed. But Krishna, how old was he? Right? He was a little baby, you know, and he killed Putna. So you can see Krishna was God. So his pastimes are, you know, unlimited. So here, my point is that if all we want to go is go back to Godhead, but where? So you should know where you want to go. Right? What mood do you have in there? You know, how do you know, whether you want to go to Dwarka, you want to see the opulence, you want to see the sweetness of Krishna. At Jagannath Puri, when they have that, what is the festival before Snan Yatra or Rath Yatra? Where they dress the Lord. They were having where Lakshmi, they were describing the opulence of Lakshmi Devi, you know. Hare Panchami, right. So at that time, Śrīmad Acharya, every time we chant this mantra, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. So who is this Sivas Acharya? Who is he incarnation of? Narad Muni, right? So Narad Muni's mood is what? He worships. What does he chant all the time? Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. So he worships in that awe and reverence. And he was saying, look at Lakshmi, you know. See, he is so powerful. There's so much opulence there. She can control Jagannath. Right? Because they were, the way they were going, they went and captured all the servants of Lord Jagannath, and Lord Jagannath became scared and then came and then he was kept outside, So he said, look at this, how opulent, how powerful my Lakshmi is, And he was describing all about it. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other devotees started laughing. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, whatever you are saying, I don't think Sarup the mother is satisfied with that, And then he said, Sarup the mother said, you know where your Lord is, right? It's very opulent. But in Vrindavan, the opulence is much, much greater. But people do not realize it. There's a pastime that happened in Dwarka where Brahma, came to see Krishna. And the Dwarpals, what's the English? The guards, right? And he said, wait here, I'll have to go and inform Krishna that you are here. Please introduce yourself. He said, I am Brahma. So Brahma, the seven goes and tells Krishna, Brahma is here to meet you. And Krishna says, which Brahma? So seven goes back and asks Brahma, he says, which Brahma you are? And Brahma says, what? There's another Brahma? He says, Chaturmukha Brahma, The seven goes, tells, oh, it's Chaturmukha Brahma. He says, okay, come back, So when Brahma went to Krishna, he was thinking, Lord, I'm a bit confused, He says, which Brahma, So Krishna invited all the Brahmas from different planets. And they all came to see Krishna. And some of Brahmas had 10 heads, some had 100, some had 10,000, some had million head. And our Brahma had how many heads? And he felt so little, And then we look at it, is how opulent this is, isn't this? And we talk about it. Now the same Brahma who came and stole Krishna's cows and the calves, what did Krishna do? Now this pastime might have happened for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? And then all the Brahmas went away, Brahma is there. And then Krishna, when Brahma stole all the calves and the cows, what did Krishna do? He expanded himself into every form. And how long was he like that for? Not only form, the clothes, the whatever they had, all their weapons, whatever they were using, everything expanded himself. And for 1 year he did that. And he actually grew. So all the calves and everything grew also like that. And his opulence was so great that even Balram, who is incarnation, did not understand that. So for 1 year, Krishna drank the milk from the cows and also was treated by all the gopis who were just like his son. And Balram said, I have same love that I have for you, and I'm having the same love for all my cowhead friends. What is going on here? And then when a moment of Brahma became a year in this material world. So a moment of Brahma became, at the time is in different places, And then finally Balrama understands what actually happened. So you see the difference in opulence in one place to another place, right? And also Sarup the mother said that in Vrindavan, there's gems everywhere, Chintamani Dham, right? But nobody cares about it. If they see a little bit of sapphire, they said, oh, I got a small hole in my wall, I'll put it there, That's the value they have it, right? They have got what kind of trees? Kalpavriksha trees, And what is Kalpavriksha tree? What can you get from Kalpavriksha trees? Whatever you want, right? But do they ever go and say, I want this, I want that, I want to have a beautiful garland so I can... No, they just go and pick flowers, pick fruits, and they said, okay, this is what I can offer it to Krishna. So the opulence in Vrindavan is much, much higher. And the pastime is much, much more sweeter. Yashoda Maya, every day, she worries about Krishna. Right? Because she thinks Krishna is my little baby. What happens to him? If I don't feed him, he's going to become sick, he's going to become thin. She chants every day. She chants mantra before Krishna goes out. Mantra to protect him. And this is Krishna, And then he tells him every morning, after everything has happened, he said, go and do your meditation, Go into the temple room and spend some time and do some meditation, And Krishna goes there, looks at what form of deity does Nanda Maharaj worship? Narayan? I have had Narsinghadev. Narsinghadev, right? Yeah. Because why do they worship Narsinghadev? Because they want Krishna to be protected. And Krishna looks at him, he said, this is me, it's not even me, it's just part of me, And then what does he chant? What does Krishna chant? Radhe Radhe. So he has a bird, a parrot whom he has trained to chant Radha's name. So the bird starts chanting Radha's name and Krishna just... Because he can't chant loudly, everybody is there. He can't chant Radha's name loudly, So this is how whatever Krishna is doing, we are also doing. We are chanting. Right? But the opulence there is much, much higher. Just like a human being, how many qualities he can have? 49, right? To some degree they can have, right? Lord Shiva can have how many qualities? 54, 55. Okay, one of those two, right? And then Narayan in the Vaikuntha planet, how many qualities does he have? 60. And Krishna in Vrindavan, what are the other 4 qualities that is not available anywhere is? Yeah, so one is his beauty. Krishna is so beautiful, right? That they say, if you want to stay and enjoy in this material world, then don't look at Govinda. He is so beautiful. Once you see him, you don't want to see anything else. And then the other is this, his flute playing, It's so beautiful that everybody gets control. Everybody, even Brahma gets confused, Lord Shiva, who is always meditating, his meditation breaks down. So like this, Krishna has some of those qualities that are not there. His pastimes that are amazing. One of his pastimes, for example, lifting Govardhan Hill. Now we think, we talk about Krishna as little and he lifted the Govardhan Hill in his left hand. Isn't that? Do we know if anybody else lifted Govardhan Hill? We think, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. Anybody else lifted Govardhan Hill? Hanuman, yes. That pastime when Lord Ramchandra was building the bridge and everybody was bringing mountains and, according to their capability, and Hanuman was carrying Govardhan Hill. And then Lord Ramchandra said, the bridge is complete, whatever you have, put them there. And at that time, Hanuman was over Braj. So he put the hill on there. And Govardhan said, why did you leave me? I was going to save the Lord. He said, don't worry. When Krishna comes as, when he comes at Krishna, then he will actually do pastimes on him. Not only for one day, because Lord Ramchandra walked and came back, right? So he walked on those hills twice. But here, Krishna performed pastimes continually for how many years? 11 years. When he was 11 years, that's when he went to Mathura. Right? So Krishna performed his pastimes like that. So if you understand the different incarnations, what is in Mathura, what's in Dwarka, what is in Ayodhya, what is in Vrindavan, then you can actually go there. And but we don't have to worry too much about it. Why is that? Because we already have a particular relationship with Krishna. Just like Hanuman. When Hanuman was asked, if you ask Hanuman to actually worship Krishna, would he do that? How do we know he won't? Any praman? Murari Gupta. Right? Murari Gupta was asked to worship Krishna. And what did he want to do? And what was he planning to do? Even kill himself. He said, I can't live the the worship of Ram. And who was the younger brother of Rupa Goswami? Yeah, he had the same thing. He was a Ram Bhakta, And these two brothers were saying, worship Krishna, Krishna. I said, okay, we'll do it. The next morning, he said, I can't do it, So we all have a particular mood that we save Krishna with. We got a unique thing like that. So, the other thing we have to understand, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the proprietor of everything. So we have to understand that there is nothing but Krishna. So if you are going backwards, what I am saying, so first expansion of Krishna is Balram. And Balram is the source of all the spiritual planets. Isn't that right? It expands himself as Krishna's shoes, Krishna's, and also the other planets and everything. Then there are the jivas, the living entities. Where do they come from? We are part and parcel of Krishna. The spiritual energy. So, and first energy of Krishna is what? Who is the first energy of Krishna? Radharani. And all the other energies come from her. So there's jivas, the spiritual energy, and Krishna Tattva. And everything is coming from Krishna. So there's nothing but Krishna if you really look at it. So without Krishna, nothing can exist. But there is a difference on the same thing, It's in the Padma Purana, I think it says that when you chant 1000 names of Vishnu, that is equivalent to one name of Ram. And when you chant Ram how many times? It is equivalent to one name of Krishna. So this is also, it shows the position of the Lord. Now how much potency is in each of those. The other thing you have to understand is Krishna is known different from his name. So in Kali Yuga, Krishna has appeared as his name. So this is very important thing. This is, now we chant this Panchatattva mantra and then we chant the Maha Mantra. Of the two mantras, which one is more powerful? Panchatattva mantra. But why don't we chant Panchatattva mantra? We chant only once. Why do we chant Maha Mantra all the time? That's the instruction that came from the Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said that to chant the Maha Mantra. So we chant the Maha Mantra. So Krishna's name and Krishna's Krishna himself, there is no difference in there. There's a very, very beautiful verse that Rupa Goswami wrote, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read. I don't have the exact translation, which basically says that the two syllables, Krishna, right? These two syllables, they are so sweet, that when it enters your mouth, you want to have many mouths. One mouth is not enough to chant Krishna's name. Now do we feel that when we chant? Because we are not there. So when you become a pure devotee, right, you want to have many mouths. And when the two syllables, Krishna, enters the ears, you want to have millions of ears. And that the same name, when it enters the heart, then your heart becomes stunned, becomes inert. So this is the power of the name. And we have so far to go away. Now we chant Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the mind is wandering everywhere, So we have got a long way to go. But the path is right. One of the devotees was in Vrindavan and she was talking about she got initiation, and Prabhupada said that now your path back to home, back to God has been cleared. So we have taken initiation from a pure devotee. We have taken initiation in a parampara. So the choice is now. The choice is how long you want to stay here. You can make it in this life, or you can make it, it can take many lifetimes. So the name of the God is So the second things we have to understand is who we are. So first we have spoken about Krishna. Who Krishna is. The second thing is who are we. What is our size? What does the scripture says? No, it's too big. You take the hair, you divide the tip of the hair. How many times you divide that into? And that one part is, how big are we? That's the size of your. And the other thing, we are completely dependent on Krishna. We think we are independent. When I was in the hospital during COVID and I couldn't breathe, I had to have oxygen there. That's how I realized what is the value of this oxygen, We just keep breathing all the time, right? Have you ever realized how valuable that oxygen is? Isn't that right? And if we don't have oxygen for 2 minutes, what's going to happen? Finish. What do we have? We eat food. If there's no fire in the stomach to digest it, do we get any energy? Where is that fire coming from? So what are we? We are nothing. We are insignificant. We are completely dependent on Krishna. But by the mercy of the Lord, great tasks can be achieved. For example, Brahma creates this whole universe. Isn't that a great task? We do a little bit, we cook for a few thousand people. Oh man, let's see how much I have done, like that. But Brahma has created. So if Krishna empowers you, then a lot can be done by a particular little individual, Every moment, whatever I'm speaking here, are they my words? I forget, that's why I ask questions, The forgetfulness, the intelligence, where does it come from? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I give intelligence, I give forgetfulness, right? So what is mine? Nothing, everything is Krishna's. People get dementia, isn't that right? They forget everything. They forget who they are, they forget their family members. Everything. You have had people, if you have experienced it. And the third thing we have to understand is, what is our relationship with Krishna? So we have spoken a little bit about who Krishna is. Now we have found out that who we are totally dependent on Krishna. And the third thing is, what is our relationship and how we should do it. So, what is our relationship? What does it say? Jiva Sarup hai? Nitya, right? So we are always eternally servant of Krishna. That's our position. Jiva Sarup, and there are different rasas I was talking about. So there are 5 rasas. What are those 5 rasas? Santras, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya ras. So these are different rasas that we have. So we have this particular relationship, as I was talking with Krishna. It can be in one of those following. So if you are going to Vaikuntha, if you worship Lord Narayan, then what is the ras there? Dasya ras. Now when you go further up, if you are in Vrindavan, then you can have different rasas in there. And in all these rasas, what is the most prominent thing? Service. There is nothing but service. So in each of those ras, there's a different thing. So let's talk about, just to give you an understanding of the Madhurya ras, which is the highest of the ras. But it doesn't mean that that's where you have to get to. Whatever ras you have with Krishna, it's unique. Krishna wants to enjoy you in that particular way, and you'll be happy. You'll be happy. So to understand what these rasas have, we just give an analogy of this material world. So what is the first thing that is created in this material world? Sound, right? From sound, ether is created. From ether, what is created? Air is created, right? From air, the touch is created, is right? Then what comes next? Fire. From fire, sight, right? Because you can see fire. So in air is there sound. In fire is there sound. Then there's water, and the taste is created. Then the senses of the taste are created in there. And is there sound in water? And then what is the next one? Earth. And what is the sense for that? Smell. So you can see sound is in all of those. So similarly, Daseras, Sakyaras, Vatsaleras, and in Madhureras, all these things that is, the service attitude is in all of those. Only it gets saturated and becomes much, much more sweeter in there. So we serve the Lord in one of those many forms in there. Right? So just to summarize, we'll just read the translation again. In performing his prescribed duties as king, Maharaj Ambarisa always offered the result of his royal activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what we are talking. He was serving the Lord in every particular way. Who is the enjoyer of everything and beyond the perception of material sense. So Krishna is transcendental, he is not part of this material world, and he is the mind enjoyer. And the third is that we take shelter of the Vaishnavas. So the third important thing is that we need a guru, somebody who can guide us. And we have taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada, we have actually got initiation from Guru. So this is the path to go. If we keep following this path, then our path back to home, back to Godhead is, and let's work hard, let's help each other, so that we can all get back home, back to Godhead in this particular life, And sometimes you have to force people to come and cook in the kitchen, or do some particular service, so help them along, as much as we can. Because when we are doing things together, it's much more fun and it's easier. When they are running people, one person is running, he gets bored after a while, but there's a group of people doing the same thing, it becomes much, much easier. So we'll stop here. If anyone has any comments, any questions, any corrections, please. We know that according to the scripture says Narayan has 60 qualities. All the incarnations have 60 qualities. But Krishna has 4 qualities that even they don't have. So we can say they are same, but at the same time there is a difference in there.
So like the 4 qualities that are there, that is that related more to the sweetness, like they will still have the same, like the energy.
Krishna has that sweetness that is in Braj. So if you really try to understand is that if you look at Lord Narayan, you think he's in the office. When you go to the office, right, there's a boss there, you understand, there's our reference there, right? Now when he's with his friends, there's much more sweetness there, right? He's joking, things like that. But when he's at home, right, the kids are jumping over him. Would a workmate who is subordinate jump on the boss? No, So there's a different kind of relationship. The person is same, but the environment is different. And with that environment, different sweetness comes up. So little Krishna is in Vrindavan. And he's at home. He doesn't worry about anybody. He does whatever he wants to do. And is he the king of Braj? Is Krishna the king of Braj? What is he? Who is the king of Braj? Why is he the king of Braj and not Krishna? But why didn't Krishna take that position? Why didn't he take the king? Because king has to do everything. What does the prince do? He doesn't have to do, he has to enjoy. So Krishna creates that situation in there so he can just enjoy, So that's the mood there is there. It's just Krishna, Vrindavan is full of sweetness, madhurya.
So that's why it also makes a difference, like which incarnation, the names we take.
Yeah. Mm. So, what is the second verse of Sistastakam? Nam Namakari. So, what does that mean? Krishna has empowered his potency in all these names, but different names have different potencies in there. Just like when you chant Vishnu's name and Lord Ram's name, there's a difference in there. They're both names of God, right? So same thing, they have got different potencies there, because that's the potency that has been put into those names in there. So if you want to, I always advise, if you have got children, then give them Madhurya names, Give them Vrindavan names, because these names are much, much more powerful, Sweet, and, you chant Krishna, you give your son's name Krishna. They say Krishna, and then you give somebody, another son, Vishnu, Yes, it's same, but at the same time it's different, So you make much, much more faster progress if the names are Madhurya names, if we call Jagannath, it's a material name because he's here, If you say Narayan, then it's a Vaikuntanath, name, So when you say Krishna or Kana, what do the Brajbasis call Krishna? What is their pet name for him? Kana, So how sweet is that, Yashodanandan, Nandanandan. These are the names that Krishna really likes because these devotees are very dear to him, Gopinath, So, because it makes Krishna remember of these particular devotees, Does that make sense? Yes, Prabhu. So, once Shivasen, right? He was in charge of taking all the devotees to Jagannath Puri. Right, okay. So he once, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Goswami is trying to explain how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached, and he says one of them he appeared in front of directly, right? He was directly preaching. And one of the other ways he was preaching, he entered certain people's body and he acted like that. So one of them was, I think, Narsingha Brahmachari, right? Narsingha Brahmachari. I think, maybe the name is wrong, but you'll get the idea what it is. So when he entered his body, he was acting just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would chant, he would dance, he would roll in the ground, just whatever. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy, so he was going through the same thing. So Sivananda Sen heard about this, and he had a little bit of doubt in there. So he went to his place, and he was sitting outside, and he was saying, okay, so he said, let me test to hear, right? So he said, if I'm here, if he is God, if he is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knows everything, he knows I'm here, then he'll call me. So after a while, he says, the Narsingha Brahmachari said, okay, go and call Sivananda, he's hiding there, bring him here. So they brought him back in there. Then he had the other test, if he knows who I am, then he will know what my mantra is. Right? Understand? Because nobody knows about it, right? So that was his internal mantra. And what was his mantra? The 4-syllable, Gauranga. Right? So he said, this is your mantra. Without asking, he told everything, And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the 2-syllable, Radha, Krishna. So 4-syllable. So Gauranga and Radha Krishna have the same potency. So those who are worship Gauranga say Gauranga, and those who are worshipping Radha Krishna are saying Radha Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna are non-different. So which Which name is more powerful, Krishna or Gauranga? You have to say Radha and Krishna, then the equivalent to. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the highest level of name you can find, And he is the most merciful. Why is so merciful? Radharani is very merciful. The other thing is when Krishna tasted the mood of Radharani, he became so happy. And the mood was whose? The bhav was whose? Radharani's, Srimati Radharani's, And when something doesn't belong to you, you can give it out to people, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, this is very nice, I should distribute it to everybody. It's not mine, So he distributed the Radharani's mood like that, So this is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He gave that mercy of Radharani, the mood of Radharani, the braj to everybody, So, if it is your money, you say, if somebody, hey, Baba, give, Just like when Duryodhana, he was put in charge when Yudhishthira was doing the Raj Yagya, right? So they put him in charge of the treasury. And what did he do? He gave everybody, just like he finished the whole thing, He didn't care. He said, it's not mine, I get the credit for it. So just like that, So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna gave all the mood of Radharani. Okay. Any other comments, any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Please forgive me if I have committed any offenses. Vanchakalp tarubhaischa kripa sindhu evacha patitanam papnebhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hare Hare Bol.